Hello and welcome. This will be an in-depth tutorial on how to set up a Minecraft server. This is just a vanilla one, so let's get straight into it. This will be in depth, as I said, so this will be including how to set up a static IP. This will be adding more RAM to the server to make it run smoother. So yeah, let's do it. So on the web, straight up Minecraft website, download, sign in as well if you need to. This file right here for Windows, this is only going to be a Windows tutorial, so if you're on a Mac or Linux, I can't help. So straight away, just click on here. And I was doing this earlier just to test everything, but it's just making you folder on your desktop. That's the easiest place to do it. So right click, new folder. Now we'll just call this server tutorial, and if you just want to save that straight in there. Alright, so now it's downloaded. Down arrow, show in folder, and here we go. This is it. So double click, run. And as you see, as you start to run it, these other files will appear. So what you need to do straight away is right click on the Illula, how you say it. Right click, edit, and this bit here where it says false, you want to change that to true, and then save that file, save, close, and then rerun the server. So yeah, run, and this will then generate more folders, and we'll also launch it properly now. So this is the server, but we won't be using this. We will be using in the form of commands, so it's much easier to use. But should you choose to use this, always type in stop. That'll end it safely and save everything. Give it a second just to load the command. Alright, so there you go. So you got all your things. I'm just going to edit this name. Rename. Get rid of that bracket one, it's not needed. Alright, so here is your properties to make your properties to change for the server and how it runs and so on. So what we want, if you want to change anything, this server one be your main one. So right here you've got your, well, everything you want to change really. The only thing you don't want to touch is where is server port, leave that the same, 255.65. Server IP, leave that blank. Anything else you want to change, feel free to do it. Alright, next step is you want to create a static IP. Now static IP is your computer's name pretty much within the network, and you want that to stay the same, because should that change, the whole server, if it's running, will crash and will not run properly, and that's what you don't want to happen. So to create a static IP, you want to go on to, I'll bring this over, start control panel. You then go on to network. This is Windows 7. If it's Windows 8, should be similar, and XP as well. Vista should all be the same. Network and internet, network sharing center, change adapter settings. Now if you use Hamachi like I do, Hamachi won't be needed to run this server, but if you just have it, you want to go on your network bridge and properties, right click. If you don't use Hamachi, local area connection, right click properties. But either way you'll get the same window. So in here, you want for your IPv4, not 6, 4. You need your fourth one, hit properties, and this window will appear. Now I've already created a static one, but you should choose a number here. Well, first of all, make sure you use the following IP address. This is like one that you make yourself. So choose a number here that in your network won't be used. So for example, if you've got PS3s, Xboxes, other computers, iPads, phones, so on, using the Wi-Fi, they will be given a number, and you got to choose one that no other one is using. Now it goes from 2 because 1 is the router, so any number from 2 to 255 is available. that's if another device isn't using that number already. So that's why I've just chosen a really high one, because I do not have 199 devices in my network. So I put that as my PC. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and your default gateway is going to be 192.168.0.1, the 1 being the router. That's what it will connect to. Again, at the bottom, make sure you select the bottom radio button. This should works for me. So top row is just 8, bottom row 8844. Don't ask me what that means, because effort. Another thing to mention before you do this, your device you're using now, which will be your computer, will reconnect to the internet, hopefully. So what's going to happen is, as soon as you click OK, you will be dropped from the internet and it should reconnect. If it doesn't, go back onto the properties here and just put obtain address automatically and obtain address automatically on the DNS servers, and that will just bring it back to not being a static. So you have a dynamic IP, and you don't want that. So what will be going wrong here is either you've chosen a number here that isn't available, or these numbers here don't work for you, in which case I would suggest you call up your ISP, your internet service provider. So for example, I'm with Virgin, so I would call them up, and from there you can be given the correct numbers that you should put in to obtain a static IP, or Google it. So if you're with Sky or BT, you might be able to find it online. Anyway, once you've made those changes, OK. I'm going to click cancel because I've already done it, and again here, OK. I'm going to cancel because I've already done it. You can close this. So here's hoping that you've made a static IP. Next, you want to go onto the internet again. So this time, go onto your any browser. So I use Google Chrome. If you want to use Internet Explorer, Firefox, so on. So in the URL at the top bar here, you want to go 192.168.0.1, and yeah, you'll be taken to your router pretty much. So this is where you can configure all the settings for your router, to find the password and so on. It may ask for different details to sign in to what I use, but you can find all this information underneath your router. It should have it all there. Enter in the details as appropriately, and you'll be signed in. If you haven't changed your details for your password and so on, it will be on the bottom of the router as default. If you have however, then you're going to have to find them out if you don't know it already. If you don't, then again, try calling up your ISP and see if you can find a workaround. Sign in. Alright, so now you want to look for port forwarding. You've probably heard this many times before. If you're trying to set up a server, it has to be done. This is how you send the data to and from the correct destinations in order for the server to work. So once you're in, find advanced settings, security, and port forwarding. Now, because I use Virgin as my ISP, you may use something different, so this will look different to what you may see. Either way, it's the same general thing you're doing. Just look for port forwarding. Once you've found it, you will need to add a rule. And as you can see, these are all the rules I've made in the past. So what we're interesting right now is making a server for Minecraft. So in the name, just, I don't know, type whatever, Minecraft server, start and end port 25565 in both. Protocol, both TCP and UDP. IP address, the IP address we just created, I made mine 199. Whatever you've chosen, put that in here. Add rule, and I mean I've already done it, but as you can see, this is what you should end up with. And obviously enable it, apply, job done. You can now sign out of your router, and yeah, well done, you've successfully port forwarded. Next, you're going to want to maybe read my notes. You are going to want to go back to where you've saved your server, and this is just Just do as a test. So launch your server and launch your client of Minecraft. So this is your window you get for server. I'm just going to cut this bit out and skip to the menu. One thing I forgot to mention: edit profile. Make sure you're using the version that the server is. Does that make sense? So you can see here, server 1.8.7. Make sure you're using that version of Minecraft. Save, play. Alright, so we are now on Minecraft, and straight away you just want to add server in the bottom there. And I'm going to call this video test server address. Now for the IP address, yeah, it's just really easy to find out. Again, open up your internet browser, new tab or whatever, go on Google, simply type in IP, enter, and I'm going to pixelate this, but right here at the top should be a it's got like 4 numbers. Copy that. That is your public IP address that you will use to connect to your server, and what you'll give to your friends to connect to your server. So close that down and then back onto Minecraft here. Alright, so server address, paste it in. Now if you're the host of the server, you need to do semicolon 25565 and then done. So if you want your friends to join the server, they don't need to do the semicolon 25565, just the IP that you just entered there. Scroll down to it, here is mine, and then double click. Alright, and there we go. So we've made our server, we've made our world. There may be a bit of block lag to begin with, because the server's got to generate user cache. It's still generating the world and so on. But as soon as the server's been run a couple of times and the world's generated in nicely, everything should be fine. So once you're in successfully, you can disconnect. And I'm just going to back out of the game. And remember here, stop. Now, that is the basis of making a server. If you find it running a bit sluggish and you think, okay, well, how can I make this run smoother? Add more RAM. To add more RAM is a very simple thing to do. So what you're going to want to do is, in the folder that you've created with all your server stuff, right click, new text document, and we're going to name this run. Open it up, and I'll put this code in the description for you, so you can just copy that straight up. But here is code. You want to copy all of that. If I can, there we go. Copy all of that and paste into the fresh one. I mean, that was just code, so I could just copy it. So here, I'm going to explain it to you. It's saying basically using this much RAM at all times to run the executional file that is the Minecraft server. Now if you want to add more RAM, I'll put some numbers up. So basically 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabytes. So if you want to have 2 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to a server, you want 2048 megabytes at all times. So in this bit here, you're going to put 248 like I have, because 2 gigabytes is more than enough. And again in here, 248. Should you want more, simply times 1024 by 3. That'll give you 3072. And again, if you want more, just keep adding and adding and adding. And then again, once you've done that, just save as. And in this file here, run.bat. So this will save it as a batch file. Save that, and you can close this window. So now it has like a little cog, the little icon thing, and it's saved as a batch file. That is just how you can run executable files. So double click it and you will get this. So what it's going to do is now going to run this file, but double clicking that file. Magic, I know. And again, you'll get this, but you can just minimize this because this one here far more easier to make sense of and displays it a lot nicer, I think. So anyway, the server is now being run on this window. So if you want to relaunch Minecraft and jump back in just to test, it should all work. It's just a different way of running the server with RAM being dedicated to it. That's really it, guys. Also, to close this again, type in stop, it will save it, and then enter, and it's saved. And every time you want to run it, just double click run, server will be up. Launch Minecraft, join the server with the same IP. Make sure to give that IP to your friends if they want to join it. And that's about it. Should you have any more questions, or you'd like me to go over anything again, or maybe different servers, like mod servers, maybe like Feed the Beast or a bucket server, so on, let us know. I'll be happy to do that. It's pretty much the same process, but yeah, as always, thanks for watching, guys, and good luck.